This is my Nitecore LA10 2-in-1 lantern flashlight. This is not the CRI model, and in this video, we'll be testing its light modes, brightness, battery life, light distance, waterproofing, and much more. Out of the box, this is what I got: a lanyard, the LA10 itself, and this is just the packaging. This is what the included lanyard looks like, and you're supposed to hook the thinner end into this really tiny hole on the LA10. But I couldn't for the life of me get it through, so in the end I just cut the lanyard, slit one end through the tiny hole, then did knotted the two open ends of the lanyard together. And one more thing, this is an O-ring that you're supposed to get in the box as well. With the lanyard in place, you can hang the LA10 from any open lantern loop, like so. Now, this is a no-button user interface. Instead, the tail cap at the bottom here controls not just all the different light modes, but it also helps to switch from the flashlight into the lantern function. Now let's talk about the different light modes first. First, to turn on the LA10, rotate the tail cap clockwise. This tightens the tail cap against the battery inside, activating the circuits and turns this on. If you turn it anti-clockwise instead, this loosens the tail cap, which disconnects the circuit and turns the light off. Now, to change between the light modes, you will need to turn the light on within 2 seconds after turning it off. This means that you will need to turn it on, then off, then on, then off, and so on. And finally, to turn this from a flashlight to a lantern, rotate the bit just above the tail cap, and the light diffuser will extend out to give you a lantern. To turn it back into a flashlight, rotate it in the opposite direction to retract the light diffuser. Now unscrew the tail cap completely, and inside you'll find the power source, which is a single AA battery. The spring inside is magnetic and pulls the battery out for you. To insert it correctly, make sure the plus polarity is pointed towards the head, and then just screw on the tail cap. As for the run times, here are the official specs, which ranges from between 1.5 hours to a max of 23 hours. Now, compared to the official specs that we just saw, here's how my tested results compare. On the high brightness mode, I got 1.5 hours of runtime, exactly as the official specs said, and after that, it got super dim and ran for another 45 minutes. In the last hour here, it shifted into the blinking beacon mode before completely dying. On the medium mode, I got 4 hours and 15 minutes of medium brightness. It got dimmer and dimmer for another hour, and the last hour was in beacon mode. On the low mode, it ran for about 16 hours, got even dimmer for another hour, and blinked for 1 hour. And on beacon, I got almost a full 24 hours of bright blinks, plus 2 more hours of dim blinks before going flat. Take note that all these timings here are based on analog batteries that are about 5 years old now. So with completely new batteries, this could be 20% higher, which will be more in line with the official specs. As for the lantern's max lumen output, that comes in at 135 lumens. And you can also find the other lumen outputs on the official website, and now let's test this to see how accurate it is. And based on the testing that you just saw, Here were all my results. Based on a freshly charged anode battery, I got between 2 times the official lumen output to almost 3 times the official output. Now, here's how each of the modes looks like. Now we're done with that, what would the lumen output be if you change this from the lantern to the flashlight instead? To test this, you have to use a different test, more specifically, a bounce test specifically for, well, flashlights. And here's everything you need to know. This is the distance between the flashlight and a white wall, and this is the number of lux recorded on my light meter. Then, using some basic calculations, I converted lux to lumens to give you the lumen output here. And as you can see, it ranges only from 2 lumens to a max of 28 lumens, so honestly, it's not great, and I'll give you more info on this in the pros and cons in just a bit. Now that we know the lumen output, how well does the lantern throw its light? To test this, I hung the Nitecore LA10 up, then using a lux meter against the lantern function, I backed away until the reading on my lux meter hit 0 lumens. This distance here from the lantern to the 0 lumen reading is exactly what I measured, and that came in at almost exactly 3 feet. Now, everything you just saw will be summarized in this table here. Feel free to pause the video to check it out. As for the flashlight's beam distance, I used the same testing method again by backing away from the light until the reading hit a 0 lumen reading. Now here are my tested results in table form, plus what the beam distance actually looks like. The rating on the LA10 is IPX6. This means that it can take heavy rain and even up to water jets. So first, I tested this in 30 minutes of heavy rain. After the heavy rain test, I found that it was still working great. So next I tested this in 10 minutes of strong water jets. After this next test, I checked in on it and found that all the modes still work perfectly fine. I also checked the battery compartment and found that the rim was slightly wet, but everything else was dry and it held up great. As for impact resistance, this has a 1 meter resistance, and when I tested it, I found that the surface doesn't even scratch up at all, the light was still on, and all the modes held up great. On top of just controlling the light modes, the tail cap is also magnetic, so you can hang it from different types of metal surfaces. As for quality, the entire body is made of lightweight aluminum alloy and it feels high quality. The lantern diffuser is made of plastic, and I think it's pretty high-grade plastic. As for light quality, it's definitely on the cool side, not warm. As for where it's made in, that's China. For portability, I first measured the weight with a AA battery, and that came in at 2.43 ounces. For the weight without any batteries, that came in at 1.52 ounces. As for the pack size, that came in at slightly under 3 inches for the length and less than 1 inch across. When you extend the lantern housing, the total length comes in at 4 inches. For pros, I really liked the super portable design. It's about the same length as a regular chapstick, just maybe slightly thicker in width. It's also pretty affordable. MSRP now is $25 I think, and I paid about $20 for mine. On top of the affordable price, this even comes with a very long 5-year warranty, which was quite surprising. It also comes with all the basic features that you may need, complete with 3 different light modes, plus a beacon mode, an included lanyard, a magnetic tail cap. It can take powerful water jets and still work perfectly fine after, and you can drop it from hand height and it'll hold up too. And if you prefer battery-run light sources, this works on a single AA battery, so you have an unlimited supply of light as long as you have batteries on hand. If this video has been helpful so far, please help me hit that like button. Thank you, and I really appreciate it. As for cons, here are some features that the LA10 doesn't have. There's no memory setting, so it will default to the low brightness mode. There's no battery indicator to let you know how much of a charge that you have left. You can't charge your devices, and there's no red light mode. And the biggest possible con I can think of is that this is pretty bad as a flashlight. There are 2 main reasons for this. If you take a look at other portable lantern flashlights as well, notice that the lantern and flashlight functions are actually separate. So for the flashlight, you get like a dedicated beam of light. However, for the Nitecore LA10, the lantern is just the extended version. The flashlight is just retracted into the housing. There's no like single beam of light that's actually focused on, well, anything. So when you compare the two, there's obviously no competition. So when I tested the lumen output, even at the highest brightness, that comes in at just 28 lumens for a flashlight that is pretty bad. It is fine though if you need something dim to use in the middle of the night, like this. However, it is not fine if you need an actual beam of light. Here's how the brightest mode of the LA10 compares to other 2-in-1 lantern flashlights as well. And that's the first reason why the flashlight kind of sucks. The lumen output is really bad. The second reason is that the beam distance is pretty bad too. It's supposed to come in at 10 meters, but when I tested it, even the beam distance on high came in at under 3 meters or less than 9 feet. Ultimately, as long as you don't need like a super good flashlight and you like the rest of the simple features that we talked about here, then I think this is a pretty decent and very affordable pick. However, I think there are better options in the market. You can check out this video on screen for all the info that you may need. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in that one.